Hi, thanks for joining me. Today's topic is about connecting to the higher self. First, a special hello to my listeners in Mesquite, Nevada. Thanks for being here week after week. Your support means very much to me, so thank you very much. Let's get started with this topic. What is the higher self? I've had people ask me that. It's an extension of yourself that's part of you and part of Source. It's the ultimate higher power, the universal source of cosmic energy. Another way to say it is your higher self is your soul. And this energy links you to everyone and everything. We are all interconnected through shared energy. And as this universal energy, this higher consciousness is contained within each one of us, we can use the higher self to access this universal wisdom and knowledge from within. Another way to look at it is that the higher self is essentially an accumulation of all of your positive characteristics. While there are many belief systems that explore the spiritual nature of the higher self, living your life in unity with your higher self can transform your everyday life. This teaching shows you that by connecting with your higher self, you can discover who you are, what path you're supposed to be on, and where you're meant to go. When you work with your higher self, you can explore where your strengths lie and how to use them, how to identify the biggest challenges in your life, and how to overcome them, what work you should be doing to be the most fulfilled, what mission that you're supposed to dedicate your life to, and the kinds of relationships that you need to be forging, and more. Once you know who you are and where you want to be, you'll likely find there is also a lot of work to be done to get to that place. This is a difficult but fulfilling process that can facilitate some of the most important and satisfying changes in your life. Each person's spiritual journey is unique, and we all have our own obstacles to overcome. But the first step is always learning how to connect to your higher self. We all learn and progress differently, and there's no one set path or particular exercises that you need to do to learn to get there. And let's talk about some of the benefits of connecting with your higher self. Number one, clarity about life's toughest moments and decisions. And that's a biggie. A deeper connection with your higher self gives you the opportunity for deep introspection and reflection. And I talk about it a lot because it's so key to both personal and spiritual growth. Your higher self knows the direction your life should take, even if you can't seem to find it on your own at a conscious level. During your everyday life, the world will tell you many things about where you should head, but it can simultaneously drown out those important whispers of your soul with distractions in the form of work, relationships, or world events. Your higher self sees through all that noise because it is directly connected to the universe. It hears those whispers as if they were shouts. Number two, moving forward on your personal journey. Once you recognize your life's true path, your higher self can give you the strength and courage to walk down it. Communicating with your higher self helps you break through the barriers that you face in your everyday life. With the opportunity to be freed of life's physical and emotional restrictions, you can find your true self and understand your life's purpose. Number three, it's a structured time to focus on you. Meditation is the most powerful tool to strengthen your connection with your higher self. So find it a time each day or week to practice mindfulness is an opportunity to structure some in a schedule that can be chaotic otherwise. When you meditate, you purposely set aside time to focus on yourself rather than the world around you. You will still experience distractions, but you learn to let them go without letting them steal your attention and clouding your connection to your higher self. Number four is a healthier mind. Who doesn't want that? On top of more spiritual benefits of communicating with your higher self can come some mental health benefits as well. Communicating with your higher self through meditation can reduce stress and anxiety. Purposely relaxing your mind and not dwelling on external distractions enables you to focus on your peaceful connection to the world around you. Number 5 is a healthier body. One of the most tangible benefits of communicating with your higher self is the overall boost in health that accompanies it. Interacting with your higher self can increase your health and well being by boosting antibody production, improving your sleep quality, and even reducing inflammation. Next is balance in your everyday life, something many find difficult to achieve now. Balance is a key component of connecting with your higher self. Having a connection with your most inner spiritual self affords you the opportunity to interact with the world around you in a new way. At its core, your higher self knows more about the world than you are consciously capable of seeing. Once you connect to your higher self, you understand more about the world and fully appreciate the relationships between seemingly unconnected aspects of life. This leads to a more holistic worldview that can help you find the balance between seemingly incompatible positions in life. Finding this sense of equilibrium within the world will give you the confidence and stability you need to move toward fulfilling your potential. Next is a stronger sense of belonging. A connection with your higher self puts you in tune with the world around you. The spiritual ties that exist between you and nature give you a sense of comfort, knowing that there is always a part of you that belongs to the world you live in will soothe your uneasiness about what the world holds. According to a 2013 study conducted by Carnegie Mellon University, mindfulness can reduce your perception of loneliness. In their study, they found an indication that a mindfulness-based stress reduction program can reduce perceived loneliness and encourage greater engagement with others. There's quite a few factions of spiritually aware people who feel like they don't belong. Lightworkers, starseed, empaths, and earth angels are among them. Forging this kind of relationship with your higher self can ease that feeling of not belonging and make your time on earth more comfortable. So let's talk about connecting with the higher self. You can connect with your own higher self or other people's. Haha, that's something you might not have thought about. You have heard why you might want to connect with your higher self, but let's go over some reasons you might decide to connect to another person's higher self. So the first one would be you don't have contact with a family member or friend and you'd like to change that. So if you can't talk to them, they can't have an understanding, there can't be any kind of settling between you, but you can talk to their higher self and their soul will listen to what you say and hear it in the spirit you intend with a completely open mind. And if the person isn't, you're not able to sit down and talk with them, you can understand how this can be invaluable. Maybe you're ready to change, but the other person isn't in your life anymore. You can't even tell them that, but you can tell their higher self that, and their higher self will let their human part know, and you can start having a positive shift between you. Another one is that the other person won't listen. So again, if they're not willing to sit down and listen to you, there can be no resolving of any kind of issue. So this would be a way that you talk to their higher self, they talk to the human self, and eventually you'll see this little shift. It's usually a shift in energy first, like you might feel the difference before you start seeing a difference in behavior. It tends to be a gradual but steady shift for the positive. Another one reason to do it is that the other person cannot hear your intent. They are they're determined to think the worst of you, or they can only see you as how you were as a child, a teenager, and a young person. They're not seeing you for who you are now, and so they just won't listen. This is a way to get something through to them if they mean enough to you and the situation needs to be resolved for you. Give it a try. Another one is that the other person's doing something to harm you emotionally or verbally. This is where I first tried it on a couple who had a vendetta against me in a social group. And it was just sort of, I heard about this and I thought, what do I have to lose? These people are just vile. And so I started doing it and I could feel the shift. And I kept doing it every night. I would do this for just a few minutes. And before too long, they were showing up at my front door, super nice. It never became that we were best friends, but what shifted was they stopped attacking me, and I wasn't the object of their vendetta, whatever that was about anymore. So sometimes it's just to get people to stop treating you unfairly. And another thing I found this really helpful for is missing persons cases, which I've only done that primarily. The big cases have been volunteer to try to help the families who brought myself and sometimes my business partner into it as well. So when I work on missing persons cases, and sometimes now it's missing pets too, is I'm actually connecting with their higher self, and I can hear them. I can see where they are. I can feel how their physical body is. It helps me a great deal to know whether they're still alive, what kind of condition they're in, what they're experiencing. And I once I have that bond, I seem to keep that bond until the situation is over. So just some things to think about that you may have thought there's no hope for a situation. And I mean, any of these that I just mentioned, but talking to the higher self can be a last resort that can make a difference. So there's different ways that you can connect. One is through meditation. When your mind is overactive, it feels like your thoughts just go in these endless circles, and the busier your mind is, the harder it is to focus, relax, and more importantly, connect with your higher self. The purpose of meditation is to quiet your mind so you can turn your attention inward. Meditation is the most important practice to uncovering and assimilating your true inner self. It is the key to understanding and communicating with your higher power, your inner wisdom, your higher self, which holds the promise of inner and outer personal change. There are many different forms of meditation, but at its core, it simply requires sitting down in a comfortable place, away from distractions, and quieting your busy mind for a short period of time. And this can be done in a comfortable chair. There's no need to sit in a lotus position and making an Om sign with your hands. If you're new to meditation, start with 5 minutes, which can then be slowly, steadily increased up to about 20 minutes a day. If you've never meditated before, I'm going to take you through an introductory guided meditation to get started. If you're driving right now, please skip past this part, as it won't be safe for you to go into a guided meditation while you're driving or doing anything else that could be dangerous. So come back to this part later. You can skip ahead for now. For those of you who are in a safe place, I want you to close your eyes and just start to allow your entire body to relax. First, your feet are going to relax, then your legs, moving up to your thighs. Your stomach is relaxing. Now your chest, your shoulders, your arms, and then your neck and your head. Your whole body is now feeling relaxed. And if there's any place in your body still retaining a sense of being tense, just pay attention to and allow it to calmly relax. Take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, and center yourself by linking with your heart chakra, which is right in the center of your chest. With each breath, feel the cares of the day dissolving into nothing, and try to let go of any thoughts and emotions. Visualize yourself being on a boat out on a beautiful lake. You are rowing towards this island. You get closer and closer. You pull up to the island and dock your boat. You get out of the boat and walk down a meandering path. You see a bench where you sit and you wait for your higher self. You see another boat out on the lake, and slowly it comes to dock right in front of you. Your higher self gets out of that boat, walks toward you, and sits next to you on the bench. You turn your head to look at your higher self. When you feel connected to them, you let them know that you're going to ask them some questions which can be answered with a yes or a no. And you can say this silently in your head now. Let them know. You ask your higher self to raise their right hand if their answer is yes, and to raise their left hand if the answer is no. And then you ask your first yes or no question of your higher self and pause for their answer. When you get that answer, make a mental note of the response you got. You ask another question and pause for their answer. And you make a mental note of the response you received that time. You continue asking questions, waiting for their answer and making mental notes of what your higher self indicated. When you feel ready to end the conversation, ask your higher self if it has anything else it needs to tell you. Listen to its answer. This may take the form of spoken words, thoughts, or impressions. Thank your higher self, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Take a moment to journal everything that you experienced in this exercise. You can make a few quick notes right now so that it can remind you of more details later, and fill it in after you finish listening to the entire episode. So I want to talk a little bit about finding your vocation. Choosing the right career or true calling may not seem like a spiritual choice, but it is heavily tied into the Buddhist and Hindu ideas of Dharma. One of the many meanings of Dharma refers to the work a person chooses to do in each lifetime. This work relates to the individual's evolving soul, and the work we do can help our souls go onward to another level of maturity. This does not mean that we must achieve fame or amass huge amounts of wealth, as those are not true metrics of fulfillment. The soul doesn't care about those things. Instead, it's only important that our souls feel they've done the best work possible in their time here. Most people spend over a third of their waking hours at their jobs. For this reason, it is essential to choose a career that's aligned with your spiritual path, something that you're passionate about. Those who have a deep desire to help others can advance their progress with a career in something like medicine, counseling, social work, or spiritual work. Those who are creatively inclined can often find a fulfilling career in the arts. And even those who are mathematically inclined can achieve spiritual fulfillment with a career in engineering or accounting. Same is true for those who are scientifically minded. If you listen to your higher self when it directs you to your soul's true vocation, you'll find yourself nurturing a deeper connection to your higher self every day of your career. Let's talk about nature and sunlight. As simple as the concept of spending time outside might seem on the surface, there are ways we can use nature's ancient wisdom to further our own spiritual journeys. There have been many scientific studies throughout the years that have proven how connected we are with nature and the sun. The positive feelings from nature's vibrations allow us to connect with our hearts and ultimately awaken the higher self. Here's an exercise that you can try. Take 30 minutes to sit in the sun. Cover your head and always wear some sunscreen. Take it from the lady who's had extensive skin cancer. Feel the sun's warmth coming into your body. Experience it flowing into your heart, through all your limbs, and through your stomach and the rest of your body, and really concentrate on the sun's energy permeating your body. Sun energy is very calming and relaxing. And when you experience it, try to do it with an open heart and mind, not thinking about anything. Simply experience the warmth of the sun. You aren't meditating, but just staying with the warmth of the energy and the feeling of your body. This can be very healing, especially if you're tired and under any stress. The next thing is strengthen your intuition. Do you sometimes feel like your gut's trying to tell you something you can't quite put your finger on? The subtle but persistent feeling is your intuition. It's the reason you sometimes feel drawn toward a decision without fully understanding why. In a society that largely values only what can be rationally explained, it's no surprise that many of us ignore or repress the rather abstract sixth sense of intuition. It's not a negative reflection of us, it's simply how most of us have been raised in Western society. But as a result, we may sometimes feel as though we're only working with a piece of our power instead of the full scope of hidden knowledge available to us. Learning to listen to our intuition is a key step of our spiritual development and can further strengthen your connection to your higher self. Another way to connect is with working with your heart. Wisdom traditions tell us that there is some knowledge that cannot be found through intelligence, but through surrender and experience. It is only through surrender to the heart that we discover our higher knowledge. Listening to your heart's wisdom is essential to progressing in your spiritual journey and developing a deeper connection with the higher self. When the heart is open, we become capable of the compassion, kindness, openness, and honesty we long to have shown back to us in our daily lives. Next, cultivate positive speech and thoughts. As part of our journey to connect to our higher selves, it's important that we remain conscious of what we say and think. It is within our lower nature to sometimes gravitate towards negative speech and thoughts. The first step in making a change toward more positivity is to foster a heightened sense of awareness of what we say and think. With time and practice, we can reach a place where more positive speech becomes second nature. Working on our speech and thought patterns will simultaneously improve our patience, especially when it comes to promoting positive change within ourselves. Next is self-reflection. Whatever paths you take to deepen your relationship with your higher self, you won't receive the full benefit of your training without regular and honest self-reflection. It's essential that we regularly take a step back and think about the progress we've made or haven't and where we can improve. Much like meditation, this is best achieved in a state of quiet, relaxed contemplation. The goal here is not to be self-critical or harsh, but simply to understand how your journey is progressing. Strive to be an impartial observer of yourself. Ask yourself what practices have been the most helpful and how they've helped move you forward on your path. By the same token, consider which practices have been the least helpful. Is it because of the way you're going about them, or do you simply need to replace them with different practices? Is your personal life outside of your spiritual training affecting your practice? Are there changes you need to make in your life, in your career, or with friendships? Journaling can be a valuable tool in this process as it will help you focus your reflective sessions while also creating a written record of your progress you can return to later. Next is reading. While nurturing a relationship with your higher self often revolves around learning new exercises and techniques, no spiritual practice is complete without traditional reading. You can read blogs like mine or thousands of others online. You can read books on the topic you want, watch videos if you prefer that. There's so much knowledge out there for you. Next and last is coaching. Working with a higher self does take time, commitment, patience, and often the encouragement and wisdom of others. If you just can't do it on your own, maybe you need a little extra help getting there, that's fine. A personal coach is an important part of your spiritual development. A coach provides valuable insights that facilitate growth and a deeper connection relationship with your higher self. No matter where you are in your journey, coaching can be critical for learning, growth, and self-awareness. If you're interested in connecting with your higher self in a powerful way, connect with me for a spiritual counseling session and just let me know you want to focus on higher self. I have a quick method for accomplishing this so you can be successful quickly. In conclusion, your experience of the higher self is going to be unique to you. As you try the various methods throughout this podcast, it's important to remember that there is no right or wrong way to relate to the higher self. Everyone receives answers from the higher self and guidance in different ways and at different times. For example, you may not receive an answer in the moment of meditation, but later you do through a signal, a sensation, a movement, or simple but clear feelings of knowing. Be open and mindful after having met with your higher self. Over time, you will learn how you and your higher self best communicate. I'm excited to see how this goes for you. Leave comments if you have already been able to connect with your higher self, any experiences you've had with this, or if you're stuck with it. Let us know about that too. I love hearing from you. Tune in next Sunday. I have a guest. Her name's Fran Gallagher. She's lovely and energetic, and she is a well known intuitive leadership coach. So she generally works with businesses, women who are in business. And I think you'll really enjoy what she has to say. A lot of it is very pertinent to anyone interested in intuition. In the meantime, may your angels surround you. May your angels protect you every moment, every day of your life. I'll see you next week.